What's your story? We know Paul's story, but what's your story? What story will people tell about you? This Monday, I was at a funeral for a man who was in his 90s when he died. I was supporting a member. I did not know the man. I was supporting a member who had been a member of our church a long time ago and since moved to Texas. And he came up for the funeral, and I supported him. And he came to church last week, but you might have met him. But his brother spoke at the funeral about their dad. And the very first thing he said, I'd never heard before at a funeral. But he came right out and said, you know what? With tears in his eyes, I'm really sad. Because I don't think my dad's in heaven. Now, he went on to say that his dad was a really great guy. He taught him a great work ethic. He treated his mom very well. They went on these great camping trips every August. So he was this all-around good guy. But he literally said, I never heard my dad talk about Jesus. Great father. But his story did not have a happy ending. What's your story? What's your story, man? You know, every child automatically looks at their dad like he's a legend, a superhero. You don't have to have any superpowers, dads. Your kids think you are amazing until you prove them wrong. What's your story? What's your story? It's really great what Paul says in one of the last verses here. I wonder how your story is coming along. Personally, I want my kids to tell others that I lived my life for Jesus. That I followed God with all my heart. That I lived a life of purpose and I helped other people follow Jesus. And I don't think it's ever too late. In fact, that thief on the cross next to Jesus, where's he at? The one who believed that Jesus was God. He's in heaven. It's never too late to change your story. What's your story? Paul says here, examine yourselves. He says, to see whether you are in the faith, test yourselves. Or don't you realize this about yourselves? Jesus is in you unless you fail the test. This is an interesting test here because you test yourself. You give it to yourself. You look in the mirror and you say, do I have genuine faith? And if you can look in the mirror, you can have a conversation with God and say, I have genuine faith in you, God. I walk by faith, not by sight. Then keep building your story. Keep living out your story because your story is his story. But if you look in the mirror and you're failing the test, it's not too late to change your story. Make your story his story. What a difference that will make in the lives of the people around you, in your children. If you want to be the man, the myth, the legend, you need to be vulnerable, you need to be transparent, and you need to make your story his story.